this other one.
Camilla?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Nancy?
Yes.
Joey?
Here.
Me. Petitions or communications, oral or written. I do remember seeing, I was caught downstairs by Harriet from SART, and I do remember seeing
We found it.
Marty putting out that, and so what I would think is, how do you guys feel about maybe me and somebody else, or a breakout session of the tourism board working with the SART to, you know, look at the ad that they want to place on the back of their guide and everything for this year? So what has happened in the past, the tourism board or tourism board with economic development in the city has placed that ad on the back of their, that says, like last year it had our old website on. This year we have visittrinidad.com on the back of it. The ad is usually about $1,000, and that is done in conjunction with tourism and economic development. Do you guys? I mean, she was pretty upset that she couldn't appear today.
Can we tie it in with maybe with something then working with us as well?
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm thinking is, instead of taking their time out, because now they're almost in season, they open this weekend, is maybe that.
I'll go
yeah.
if you want somebody else wants to.
Do you guys feel like Tom and I talking to them, and then we'll come back to the board? Okay. Okay. Any other petitions or communications, oral or written? We did get some communications about the event that both of you did at the Mitchell Museum for Southern Colorado Tourism, and people were just really wowed with what you had done and what was served, how the program went, the trolley tours. Approval of minutes from regular meeting, April 3rd.
You can't really approve those minutes because it's just a work
Oh, yeah.
session. So you'll have to move that to the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Review of financials.
Same thing. Same thing.
And then policy items. Again, this wouldn't be any approval, but just the review of development RFP. We do need an RFP for it. I think we've already stated that we wanted an RFP through Marty. I don't know the chance for that. Oh, she got that. That's right.
Did we use it?
Has everybody had time to reflect on it? And do you think this is a good RFP? Anybody have any problem or anything they want to see put on it so that we can put it in our next session for approval?
You know, this is my first time to review an RFP document, so I don't really have anything to compare it to.
It's very small. This is a very small version of an RFP.
So
usually an RFP, and maybe we can have a breakout group for that with Marty too. Usually an RFP doesn't only say what they can do for us, but we tell them what we're looking for.
exactly.
And this doesn't appear to have that.
It was, I don't remember, it seemed pretty vague.
So so I would
Well,
say.
see, sure, it's an underlining, and so what do you hope to accomplish through this production video? When do we want to complete it? Do you know
I think
what it
it's
is?
vague considering the amount of money that would be spent. Maybe a little more detail.
Yeah, it does say it's a template, so.
Do you
So
want
I
to
think,
table it?
I do think that we need to put down what our expectations are to put out an RFP, not just ask people what they want to do for us.
Yeah.
So for the trolley video, again, I think this is a breakout thing with Marty. I don't think Marty can do this on her own. So does anybody want to work with Marty on that? Do you want me to do it? Does anybody want to?
I could work with her on it.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
And that's pretty easy. You can actually even go online and see what cities require for video. Okay.
Well, perhaps we could take a look at, doesn't the city itself have RFPs? I mean, can we look at
yeah.
that?
Is that what you want? You want a copy of one, an RFP.
Well, I
look
would
at.
like something to compare it.
Cause I don't think the last one was done for, what, 10 years ago or so?
Well, no, we have lots of RFPs. We had an RFP for
But
Studio Six.
For this
Right,
particular.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But you know, Studio Six is, that they filled out for their RFP, I'll actually put that down to get a copy of that. It's probably because it was advertising and marketing, and we'll get a copy of that.
You know, what's kind of odd here, I'll be honest with you, is that you're asking for RFPs. Those should already be into you before you can even act on them.
I agree. And so we asked Marty to produce one, which he gave us this, so we're just
So
trying.
this is really not an RFP,
Correct.
this is just a
The
recommendation.
A template.
Right.
It's for us to
So
develop.
these, any of these companies that are wanting monies, and of course, they were here last time, and those would be your actual proposals, from what I can see. And you would have to go off that consideration of those personal,
We really haven't had anyone, we really haven't talked about it, just that we wanted a new video for the trolley. We hadn't acted on it, this was the beginning of it, is what it was.
And when we did the Studio Six ones, Tara was involved in that, and she signed those contracts, and so we did not actually have them come across our table. So I think seeing what Studio Six is, which was in advertising and marketing, I think they had video and everything, and then we broke it down to what we wanted. That's probably the best one that I know with this board, because it has to do with tourism and advertising and marketing. Okay? Visitor study, Dean Runyon, CTO visitor study.
we had asked Marty to check with, other state agencies that might have visitor studies.
And so that's what this is.
Yeah,
So this is actually just something that's too big for a meeting. Well, this is something we all have to review.
yeah.
Oh, no copies were given.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the one that has it.
And we were not given this prior to the meeting, so. I'll get copies out to everybody on that, or maybe Kim, is there any way we could just run it through the copy
Yeah, of
machine when
course.
everybody leaves? I'm gonna give it to you. Billboards, cancellation of I-25 board, I imagine
We
you
can't
should,
do that.
pardon me?
We can't do that in a special session.
Yeah, I'm just looking, I asked her to let me know exactly the date that it was already, canceled, or when it expires.
Yeah, and her letter is in here. I think it's, what, June, or, July?
Okay.
June 14th?
Yeah.
So how does everybody feel about it? There's no voting here. Does anybody want to keep the board? Should we talk about that any?
Should we just vote on it in a special session?
Yeah, we could vote on it in special session. Thank you, Tom.
Lisa, something I'd like you to do is, when you called at the beginning of this particular item, line item section, you called it policy items, that should not be called policy items, it should be just discussion items, simply because it's a work session.
And we've already
For the
discussed
minutes.
this, we've already voted
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
So why is it coming back?
I'm not sure why Marty put out
Put it back.
this
We-
whole thing
yeah.
and was gone. I'm just not.
We voted in our last regular meeting that this was what we were going to do. So it shouldn't even be on here.
But anyway, just call all these items discussion items.
Okay. Visitor guide revisions, reviews returned by board members. I just want to verify, I did text Marty on Monday and asked her if I had this, and she said that she dropped off all the packages I think on Friday. Did anybody else get packages?
I don't
what?
have that
I
particular
don't
one.
either.
Yeah,
You don't have that either?
no. Yeah, I didn't receive one.
So let's move on.
Okay, KRDO production dates?
I don't know if these are good or bad, I just kind of glanced at them and don't really
Yeah,
don't really know.
Well, she was asked to put a,
Yes.
as to when we would do it, which is a good thing for us, for the grants,
Mm-hmm.
as to, some of these could be given as grant monies, the time slots.
it does look, normal, Nancy.
Yeah.
For KRD. I mean, if, you know, cause some of the stuff doesn't look normal this time, but this does look
It's
normal.
broke down pretty good,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I just am not familiar
And
with all of them.
yeah, KCRT used to do them for us all the time too. I
Oh.
haven't seen a KCRT one in a while, but yeah, this looks very normal, very,
And that brings to mind something that Tom and I talked about the other day is radio and TV and also hard copy, which is something I'd like to talk about later.
On that KRDO thing, I know that last meeting, Marty had said that, I guess you guys had wanted me to do an
Yes.
interview with KRDO. I was in Colorado Springs last Friday, I actually texted her, but I never did hear back from her as to when they wanted me to do this, so if you could follow up with her and let me know what.
absolutely.
those dates are.
I'll do that, and I'll
It's
text you.
gonna be now in the spring, Phil. It might be one of these, in like this June 19th one, it might be. I know there's 2 of them.
And just follow up with her on that, and try to find out a date as early as you can, because I got a lot of stuff going on this June already. so.
Cause they did have a date for you, Connie did have a date for you. See, what's nice is they got it all worked down into the spots. And this is actually an excellent thing for us giving out this grant.
KCRT, because we haven't done it in a while, the KCRT will run us a whole sheet of
We-
when
we
they've done
need-
it, and then we can say,
We need that from them.
Yeah.
Just that way it'd be a good way to give out some
Monitor.
grants.
yeah. Travel planner updates?
Did you get anything out of that? Well, travel planner something?
That's right in, it's in here, I thought, yeah, I looked at it.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's in here.
See, I thought we talked about this last meeting too.
I think we did.
Yeah, we
We
did.
covered this one
We
up
did.
too.
I think the last discussion we had was we were going to use the 20,000 copies that we had, and then we were gonna
Yep.
move on to.
I'm actually seeing if it's in the minutes, since the minutes are here, but yeah, you're
We-
right, that's
we
what
were
we
gonna-
did say.
We were gonna use the copies.
Right, yeah.
And then,
And then we were gonna start on it for next year, for 2019.
2019, yeah, we wanna,
So if that's what we were gonna do.
For what?
We're gonna use up what we
This
have.
new
Oh,
travel.
on
We
the
have enough to,
travel guide?
yeah, so we had already made that determination, that we had enough to carry us through to about September of this year. So we would go ahead and do a whole new guide instead of paying to redo it now, since we
Right.
still had 20,000 plus
Yeah.
issues left.
And I think we had talked about putting this back on September,
Uh-huh.
right.
the agenda for a work session in September.
Mhm.
And putting it out for bid
Right.
again.
And Kim, we also talked about that the back of the only thing that was, the back of the, it had the old website on, we were gonna get tasteful stickers that just said, visit trinidadcolorado.com, and kind of put it over those.
If you could
That'll
just,
work.
if you could just make
Yeah.
a note
Yeah, of
that,
course.
to put it back on September, would that be all right?
Yeah.
You've got it for a work session, right?
For a work
Yeah.
session,
Okay.
right?
Go Colorado Analytics.
What is this?
So this is the ones that I send you that shows,
Oh.
people that are going onto the site.
Mhm.
So you kind of go through, probably the most important page is the second to the last. That shows the growth of Trinidad's interest from 2015 to 2018. And then the last page that shows where those requests come from. Texas, Colorado, Florida, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Kansas, Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, and California. So it's just one of those things to take note when we're thinking about advertising and promoting. And every time I get a report on those, I send them off to you guys. You guys been getting them?
Yeah.
Okay, quarterly media reception.
I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
or when it is, or.
I don't think we have information on that, do we?
It's in here.
Or is it?
Here, this is it
Oh.
right here. Colorado Tourism Market will host a media reception May 13th in Denver.
And then heads up to everybody, I'm unsure why maybe it's because she started getting emails from them. They do these monthly. I'm on that Colorado Tourism Leadership Journey right now, and they do these monthly. So if any time that you guys feel like you want to go to one of the monthly, it's like we have monthly luncheons for the chamber, so the Colorado Tourism Office does monthly for anybody from the state that wants to go and meet. Is there any interest in that?
I actually like the dairy block, but
Yeah,
let me see if I'll get there.
yeah.
Just let them know.
So I guess what we could do that in a regular session, but what would we do is that if anybody wants to attend, the cost to go to them are $75 in a regular session. We could say that we approve if you want to go on your own accord. You'll learn a lot. Proposed meeting date change. I did want to see if there was any way, I know we've done it on Wednesdays for a long time, but since I'm in the midst of this building with the Hilton, and I'm working on them really closely right now, they actually do Skype meetings with me on Wednesdays. And I was wondering if there was any way that we could move the meeting to either, I was taking consideration of Joey, because he goes out of town or goes up to Denver for a week, if that could be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday.
Yeah, I can schedule around it. I'm Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday works for me.
Okay,
Tuesday's fine.
Is Tuesday okay? So we'll put that in a regular session to move that.
Okay, guys, can I ask a question?
Oh, wait a minute.
Tuesdays, first and third, we have council in the evening, but on the same days, we have county commission.
Is it in here?
No, I mean, it's at the county, I'm just trying not to have to be in two places at one time.
Right.
So
It's
if
such
you
good
can do,
exercise.
if you can do this second and fourth, that would be all right.
I think, yeah, second and fourth.
Tuesday.
Would that be okay if we make that
When do you
motion?
want this to take effect?
We will have that take, I would say in May,
Oh, okay.
just so that everybody can react, so I don't know what everybody's plans were. Okay. But we'll put that as a motion in the next meeting. Communications, Robert Quinn, Spectrum Marketing.
I'd like to say something before
Sure.
we get started. He came in, unannounced and asked me if I was the one that was on tourism board, and I said yes. And he, wanted to sit down and visit about a marketing proposal, and I, suggested that he contact Marty. So, I see that he did. I do not know him other than speaking with him for about 15 minutes. I have no attachment to his company, but he did have a lot of information he wanted to share. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
You know what, I think, some of these things, proposals are coming to you, like these marketing things, in the middle of the year, basically. And I would recommend that you tell these people that if they want, and maybe that's something to consider, like maybe in October, to send out information, have Marty send out information to all these companies, and say, if you're going to request for 2020, then bring a proposal in, other words, like this particular proposal not to be considered until 2020.
Well, I did tell him that, you know, we were in the middle of, budgeting for grants, but that we hadn't really, you know, talked about advertising and marketing.
It'll kind of streamline those things for you, and
Yeah.
help you, you know, make
Yeah, I
decisions.
think around September, when we start talking about the travel planner, it's a good time to start rethinking some of that. He was, pretty, excited about Trinidad, so.
So, and the background of that is we have done RFPs to have somebody do the tourism and marketing point of view. For many years, some years not, some years we have. If the tourism board works harder, it usually saves a few dollars, depending on if it's not a full contract. We hoped, while we didn't know yet if we were funded through the state of Colorado, that having Marty and having that salary, you know, that we oversee, is that she would be able to pick up some of the stuff and place the ads and do the things that we would direct her to, but I do think we have to revisit that.
Along that line, what I was mentioning earlier is part of the hurry-upness of this Colorado magazine ad was that she was asking for a consensus via email, which we cannot do.
Right.
So that was the issue which brought us to the special session. I have enough trust in Joey and Tom, as Joey has really taken on, you know, working with KCRT and KRDO. And Tom, you had really good suggestions about the Colorado magazine ad. I would be comfortable with saying, you guys, if you would want to, take it on and then come to us if we.
As a
and
breakout
then-
committee.
And then we're not making 15 changes to one ad.
Yeah, I agree.
So we could streamline that a little bit.
I'd just like to make one comment on that, is, we had approved the budget for that magazine. And in the past 10 magazines that we had received, I didn't like any of the pictures that were in them. So we wanted to take another avenue as to us being a part of making sure that Trinidad was represented in the pictures that are now being put out. And that's what I had talked with Marty about. And so I went up to her office and we went through the pictures. And then on this part right here the money was already agreed upon. All we wanted was, thought we could get a consensus of all of us, and then she could pass it on and send it in. And I understand Nancy wasn't here on the board at the time, and she was kind of confused as to that we should vote on it. But the funds had already been granted for it. All it was to take us in a new direction of the pictures that we were presenting in these magazines. And so I would more than like to be happy to take on the pictures, because I haven't liked what's been put in the magazines in the past.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's fine with me, but I just wanted to clear up any of the confusion that you had on that.
Right, I think it's a good magazine, and I think it has good shelf life, but I was bothered by the word consensus via the email, because we cannot do that.
Yeah.
So if we have one person to go to,
Yeah.
then.
And I don't know the difference between the funding and the actual of us approving an actual picture being put on. I don't know if there's a problem with that or not, but I didn't see one.
I don't think there is,
You know, but I just think that I just wanna take a change and advertise Trinidad, that's what I
Right.
wanna do, that's the change I
Right.
wanna
And we've
make.
agreed with all the pictures and you've made
Yeah.
selections. Yeah, so that's, we'll do that in work session.
You're willing to do KCRT? So
And KRDO.
I'll do KRDO since I started with her,
Okay.
and, with that one.
And then Joey, you will do
He's gonna do KCRT.
KCRT.
And then maybe we can get blocks of time when we think we might be.
Will be available.
Yeah.
Marty
One
and
thing
I,
that you guys have to be very careful with is the open meetings law,
Mm-hmm.
with, you know, if you're going to be heading that up and you have emails all coming into you, you gotta be very careful with that, because it can get you into trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're pretty vigilant about it now. We've all had that discussion, and so we're really vigilant about it. Thank you, Mayor, for
Don't
saying
say
that. Yeah, we don't. We read and we don't answer.
You can go single reply, but not reply all.
You know what you can do there, not to ask you anyone less about this. Like for instance, in council, if any council, all of council need to send information into the rest of council, we'll forward that either to Les or to Greg. And then he will distribute that to, you know, the one person to you. So in this case, being that you're a board, would it go to Cy for distribution or
To Mark.
council?
To Mark.
That would be maybe a discussion to have with Les to see how to best handle that. He'll guide you on it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And Brian Jordan. Okay, I guess that's it. Adjourn the work session, and then we'll call to order the special meeting. Roll call.
Tom, are you gonna switch over? Stop and then start again?
Go ahead, you're fine, I just,
You want a break?
no.
Roll call. Camilla,
Yes.
Tom,
yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
Joey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I've got a recommendation, if you might.
absolutely.
You know, in a special session, of course, it's pretty convoluted. But one of the things that you might want to consider is looking at our regular, what we do at city council. Is like I said, you know, we have the open communications early on. Then you have policy items. And then, for instance, let's say that you guys are going to review or have made some through a work session, and you guys have kind of had some general consensus of people you're going to fund. Let's say you have items A, B, C, and D, or whatever. And you can put those on a consent agenda and then approve them all at one time,
Mm-hmm.
rather than go through each one individually.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
then this
great.
way, you would call for a consent agenda, and just, you would say, calling for approval or whatever for items A, B, C, and D for these particular companies, and then you just vote on it. Makes it very clean, simple, keeps you away from going through each one individually, so I think that would be good. So I mean, cause that would be
Copy of
something.
that?
Yeah, you can, this is the procedure that we follow, and, you might wanna consider following that
Yeah,
same
no.
procedure.
Actually, Mayor, we had decided a few months ago that we would do everything like city council, but, and that's one point that we haven't done, so make sure that we have that.
It would simplify things,
No,
and it would keep
absolutely.
the confusion, that would be something to give to Marty, for her to follow when she
Yeah.
makes up the agenda.
Absolutely. Okay, Colorado Life magazine. Motion to approve the ad, do we have a copy
We
of
did
it?
this already.
Yeah, this is the magazine.
This is really, this is last,
We've already.
we've done the Taste of Trinidad.
No, this is to pay them.
Oh,
This is the pay. This Colorado Life magazine is the picture.
The picture.
That we're gonna approve that now, cause you wanted us to approve that, Nancy. So,
Yeah, we
so
all-
we're,
yeah, yeah.
we're in a voting thing now, so we're gonna vote to approve that, like you wanted.
You mean the ad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so, we call on us to approve, right?
That is right, however, I didn't see the final product, I don't know, I mean, I can allow that to,
So you see the confusion?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because I know we talked about font and changing the picture, and I saw the picture change from the gun to the fishing pole, but I didn't know if the font was ever changed or not.
It was taken off.
Especially, did you like the final product? I know that.
Yeah, I thought
Okay,
the only
so
thing
then-
that she was supposed to change for me was visit Trinidad,
Yeah,
and,
and did you see it right on?
I didn't see that thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, something that I wish you and I were just discussing is if you guys are all amenable to it, if there's a possibility that we can get you, the laptop computers like council has, or this information, where you can go into you guys so that it's
So
all
this isn't the
downloaded.
final one.
right.
All downloaded
Yeah,
into
this is not the
every
final,
one of you,
no,
so you
this
have
is,
it.
this
Yeah,
is.
I think we talked
Oh,
about that
yeah,
in one of
see,
the
this one
meetings.
has the gun on it.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was gonna switch.
So she
to the
didn't
fish.
give us the final.
Oh, I think there is.
Yeah,
one.
she did.
It's a
With
fishing
the
one.
Visit Trinidad?
We went with the fisherman.
You have
With
But
the
not with
fisherman.
Visit Trinidad.
That
Right.
one, yeah, so the one, the completely one redone, so.
She never sent the one that said Visit Trinidad.
Right, she has.
Cause I asked her about that and we never got it.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
That would be something that would help you guys. out.
So I would say, the
Could you
motion,
repeat
the motion.
that? Hang
I'm
on,
sorry.
could you repeat that, Mayor?
Because, we all have the council, every one of us has a little laptop.
Yes.
And I think it would behoove us if we can afford to get you guys some laptop computers, especially this particular board, so that Marty has, and she could download all this stuff, and she would make a general agenda line and set it out there before the meeting. But you would have all that information
You're-
before you get here. to
I think
review.
Marty's issue is time. She doesn't have enough time and the agendas are correct.
You gotta figure out a way to get that information to you guys prior
Right.
to.
Well,
Right.
the agreement was to get us the minutes by that Monday or by that Friday for each meeting. And it has happened a couple of times, and then it kind of falls off, and then it goes back. It's kind of back and forth.
It's the consistency or
Yeah, there
lack
you
of
go.
consistency.
But
We don't get them, our packets, sometimes till the day of or the day before, and they're
So
too big.
there's days I'll go down there and pick mine up, so I could read it over the weekend, and then I know where
Getting
I'm
it by
at.
Friday would be essential for you guys.
Mhm.
There's just too much and I can see.
We've only gotten it by Friday a couple times.
And I think that would be something that maybe you guys need to press on and say it has to get done.
Right,
Yeah.
It's essential.
We have.
Because
We
of everything
have.
that you guys are dealing with,
We have, no,
you're trying to
Marty's
figure it
just,
out at the meeting, and I could see it's not working.
yeah,
right.
yeah, no, she's been really great so many times, but there has been, I don't know, her workload is just too much, so there have been numerous times that this is when we see the package, which for me is today too. I don't know if it got lost in translation, because I did text her and ask her, and that's how I know that she said that they would put out on Friday. So Taste of Trinidad restaurant participants, again, this is $100, but I could have swore we already voted on this, that everybody would get $100.
A long time
participated.
ago, a long time ago.
So I don't really know
Maybe
what
the
it's
thing
on.
is though.
Maybe this is to make payment.
To make payment,
Well, but
okay,
we did when we approved the idea, but whatever.
yeah.
Can we, go back real quick? Did you guys do anything for the Colorado Life magazine? Or
We
was that
approved
just?
it.
I would say we should have, we need you're right, Kim, we need a motion to approve the ad based on the addition of visit trinidadcolorado.com on that ad that we had not seen.
I so moved to approve the latest version of the Colorado Life magazine, which adds the word visit.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Payment.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that we already motioned to approve that $100 for everybody. I think this would be a second motion. And if we motion that, I mean, they've gotta pay it, however,
Yeah.
yeah. And now the 2019, the exciting thing of the day, the 2019 grant, grant cycle applications. I was hoping they would be listed here and they're not, so let's,
Can I make a?
yes, absolutely.
When we voted on each one of these to be placed, I think that we should go on, the way each application should be voted on is the way it was graded on.
Okay.
So.
However, I just want to interject something, Tom, that as you pointed out, after we heard the personal presentations,
Mm-hmm.
it changed my mind.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate, but, you know, it changed all of our minds, but it's just like so many things that are going now, we're in the process now of.
Well, and I've had time to think about it, as we
Yeah.
all have, and I feel that we need diversity in our events, and I am still of the mindset that we need to help startups.
This is the way.
Yeah, Mayor, the first thing that I wanted to do and address right now is that we had talked about to get an updated financial listing of our line items at this meeting, so if we needed to move any monies to help support some of these grants. And we did get an update, here, but it's not a full update. It's only really the expenditures of the Welcome Center. It's not the expenditures of the advertising and marketing dollars, which is what we really wanted.
All we have is the balance.
Right, so it doesn't,
All we have is the balance, the total balance of $70,000.
it doesn't really say what,
But what we wanted a balance is if we had to move money around.
yeah. So what we wanted is, for instance, for advertising and marketing publications, there was a line item of $25,000, but we don't know how much of that has been spent already.
We've exceeded it.
That's the point,
Okay.
Who do we get to fix this?
In the past, we got them monthly. We had some hiccups with Jonathan in the beginning, but after we complained to him, we got it. But before, we would always get them. Whoever sat at the meetings and was like, with
This-
him giving to us whatever we wanted. So,
Cause it's like the
This
fourth
is-
meeting that we could hear about
we
this.
could ask
Well,
for it.
this is not even the format that
Yeah, we've asked.
Nancy and I sat down with
Right.
with
Marta.
Tara
Yeah.
to redevise it. So,
Either Marty isn't asking for the right format, or we're just not getting it after she requests it.
Tom and Nancy worked together to produce a document that we would like to use.
all the things that we would like in it.
Sure.
The way we would like it presented to us. And we haven't received one of them yet, but we did have a copy of the way we had done it, right, Nancy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was,
that's this one right here, isn't it?
No.
No?
let's see. No,
No.
that's Welcome Center stuff.
Okay.
It just shows us up to date how much money we have left to spend.
We shouldn't even get Welcome Center,
Yeah, you need to have that.
yeah.
So you just want a tourism budget update
Right.
every month?
Yeah.
We redevised the whole new book.
It's a new format.
Is there any way you could,
I can look for whatever y'all want me to look for, just,
Cause you need actual.
or show me.
Yeah,
Well-
we just wanna know actually what we have left, so, we spend money every month, we wanna know what we have left, and so we asked for that at this meeting, because
If you could check in to see if, would it go to Cheryl? Okay,
She would probably
check to
have
see if
it.
she has the format, first of all. She may not even have what Tom and I and Tara came up with. Basically, it's our original budget. The next column would be, what we have,
Expenses.
committed to, what we have spent of that, and then the balance. So
Right.
for instance, we are over budget in our advertising by maybe $13,000. So at the end of a quarter, we understood we could move funds from, say, maybe outside contract services, or just having a cumulative, balance running, even though we're
Okay.
over in one line item.
Right.
We're still within our budget for the
And,
year.
and then we would also have an inventory of what we've paid out.
Yeah.
Right.
And to who is paid out, and then we would always have an inventory of where we were and a balance.
So remember how we used to get sheets once a month that said these were all the bills that were
Mhm.
paid? We haven't been receiving them. We receive a couple, but not the
Okay.
whole panel. And then, like for billboards, since we're canceling that contract, we would know how much we have
Right.
left over that we could put into grants.
Right. Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to move money around
To help
where,
grants.
to help really advertise Trinidad in a better way. So we're getting away from the billboards.
Mhm.
So that's new money that's coming into different ways of advertising, is what we're trying to do.
That was my understanding from the last meeting, that's what you're
Right.
trying to do.
But Kim, we don't even know if Cheryl has that form, or if it's
Right.
just Marty that's keeping.
So do you have one from the past that somebody can send?
Yes.
That way
We-
I can
She gave
ask
us,
around?
we had a draft, she did a draft that day of what we had. Is
Marty
there,
or Tara?
Tara, is there any way you could ask, what was?
I have a copy of it.
But
Can you send it to
maybe
me?
she
Yeah.
has it now.
I can
Marty
look in
hasn't
Tara's
asked.
files, cause she has a whole drawer for tourism.
Mhm.
I can start there.
I do have.
What's it-
And it had to be the last meeting.
Was she
No,
have
it
that?
was
well,
last
it
couple
was
of
Somebody
before.
gave it to her.
You guys meet twice a month?
Yes.
Right.
I think it was the end of February when we met. Wasn't it Tom when we
It
met
was,
with
it was
Tara?
the 1st of February, because
First
we
of
had to, yeah.
I'll find mine.
Would,
Okay. And
would
it's in-
Cheryl have this now, do you think?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I can
if she
ask.
wasn't given, then she that's probably
You
what
know
I
what, you
think.
guys,
but I
you know
don't
what,
think
you know what,
Cheryl even needs
I'm looking at, I'm monitoring everything that's being said, there's a lot of chaos and mass confusion.
There is.
And my recommendation would be for you guys to set up a work session of all these things that are dangling out there that you have, and have Marty or somebody look into those items that need clarification, and you bring them to a work session and see what needs to be done with them, so you can,
I agree.
We've
get
done
all
some of
together.
that, Mayor.
And I think that, because that's what I'm seeing, so.
The agenda, you know, I look at an agenda as a guidepost. And our agendas are rarely a guidepost, as you can tell.
Yeah, they need to be.
I think she needs help. You know, I think she needs somebody else working with her. I think she just has too much on her plate.
If you guys finish early, maybe I can sit with you and just talk to you a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yeah.
Or somebody with more, background. Kim?
Keep her working.
I'll help you all out if you want me to.
You know what I don't have?
We know where we wanna go,
Yeah.
we just need the person to help us get there.
And I
That's
think-
what we
And
need,
get
them to-
we all know where we wanna go. Like today, it's just total confusion, we
Yeah.
have people that were to come here to talk, and that didn't happen. And, I just think that it's kinda sad the way things are today.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things on our agenda today is these
Huge
grant
things,
forms.
yeah.
It's just, it's
Um,
kinda discouraging.
Yeah.
But by and large, I think we did the grant applications in a pretty
Oh, yeah.
unified way, so
We
that's
did.
probably the high point
You
today.
know, actually, if you look at today, there's all this chaos, but if you look at the light at the end of the tunnel here, because all these things are coming to light here. And now's the time to identify them so that you guys can correct them. So,
Right,
Okay.
right.
even though it seems like it's chaotic and stuff, but I think you can benefit from that.
I didn't understand, it might not be today, my cell phone decided to jump into the kitchen sink this morning, so I don't have the information handy that I thought I was gonna have, so, if you don't mind, let's take a 5-minute break and review what we would like to do with the grants, and then we'll talk, since I don't have my information. And
Can we make a copy of that real quick? So we-
Yes.
That way we know where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Sure.
good. You know, cause then we can see the point total, and then
You
we
can
can.
understand my writing.
So this is the grant?
Yeah.
This is the way this is the way I thought.
So probably is that, what we really, yeah, this has the request and the points that we received.
Okay, let me,
I have is this the one you have, Tommy?
No,
Yeah,
just
this
make,
got the
yes.
points.
right, make
Yes.
a, yeah,
The
make a
total
copy of
points?
that,
Okay.
just this,
yeah,
okay.
and that, and
So
then.
that-
Cause this is it.
Look at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, no, this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is more appropriate, actually. You should take a copy of this.
Want me to tell her?
So that
Take- tell her to
transcribe-
take that.
that's done.
Make a copy of that?
Yeah, I thought I had another one though. Yeah,
Yes.
make a copy of
Yeah.
that. But no, and just kind of send it so they won't see my,
What I would like
what
to
I
see
did.
is-
There's 2 pages. I knew there was 2
So
pages.
go like that?
Just take it like that. That's the
Okay.
appropriate one.
Yes, yes. And I can sort of go first, just to.
Or wrap
to-
up.
Or wrap up. So what I think would be a great idea, there's, in the format area, I think that, you would say like, the way I would handle it is I'm going to go scale it through because I've done this
Yeah.
on an email to myself. And I think that to set, if we have $70,000, if we want to use that full amount for this grant round, that I think this should be paid, this should be paid, this should be paid, this should be paid, this should be paid. And that total is X amount of dollars. And then you can give your opinion, and you can give your opinion, and you can give, and we can come to a complete consensus. And does somebody have a cell phone that I could use for a second? Another way I think I could do this. Hi, it's me, I'm still at the sitting, but are you by yourself? Yeah. Do you have a second to go into the office? There is a stack of papers that are put together, and handwriting on grant structure. Yeah, it'll say like Trinidad treasures, Trinidad News Fest, and about papers. And take a picture to us and send it to. Tom,
Only
what is
just-
your phone number?
0255
And send it to 680-0255. My phone. Picture up of it. I took a picture of it. No, just the top page, just the top page.
Camilla, where did you get that, one of the
Okay.
totals?
Yes, this is.
No, it was on Marty's email.
I took
That
a
I
picture
printed
of
up,
it,
the
so I
last
can
email
print it.
that I printed up from Marty. She got it, the very last one that I received from her.
It was the very last one.
Uh-huh. And I printed it up. Let's see if it's in this one.
Kind of the way that we had voted on.
Camilla, do you think this process, you're gonna vote now on all these things?
We're gonna talk it out right now
Yeah.
and vote, yes.
What do you think, 20, 30, 40 minutes?
Yes, 30.
I gotta go feed my mother, so.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense, to get some kind of a way system, and that's what I was saying.
I'm gonna leave them around the 40 minutes. I can.
We had an email that said Board of Tax for Monday special
So,
meeting,
I'm
and that's
gonna
what
go
I
down
had.
and look at the meetings, I'll be right
Okay.
back.
But we
Because
did
I
not-
think 10 o'clock works tomorrow. Cool.
Here's my phone, it's full
Yep.
of getting soaked up.
Yep, you can make rice-a-roni.
Give this to Tommy.
That's the original downstairs.
they still in that room? Yeah. Kim could go in, she could interrupt anything.
Morning.
Oh, there's my husband from the other day, last night. That's what's
Right.
happening.
Yes, that's, yeah, I need that. Yeah.
Michelle, that's Michelle.
Yeah.
That's her. Kim, is it okay if I go get some water?
Yeah, of course.
There's
I'm
some
gonna get
still
it
in
for you
there?
as soon as I stole your
Oh,
bottle.
no, that's okay. I forgot somebody's in there.
Okay.
No, you're
And
good?
that's why.
Yeah, you have more storage.
We have
I'll be
more.
like, fair enough. Anyone else?
Take one.
Okay.
Okay.
She found it, so she's sending a text.
Oh, okay.
that has the- No problem.
But I'm gonna run home real quick.
Did you interrupt me?
Yeah, the historic preservation's at 3, so 10 o'clock forward. Just call me and say, hey, I'm on my way. Cool. Or text, whatever. Yeah.
Thanks, Wise.
No problem.
Here's the instrument.
But it's so hard.
Oh, so give her the phone.
No.
Oh, it's in so hard. I'll get you your, pictures, your text messages.
Camille, it's kind of the same way that I have.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing I did was put their budget in.
Right. We'll go for you. Do you have your piece of paper there, Tom? Send it to me. That one you did.
You have, they need a copy.
That's, can you?
I think he gave it back to Noah.
Huh?
I think he gave it back to Tom.
Oh, I thought it was his, thanks.
Nancy.
For correcting me on that one. Yeah. Who
I was
requested?
wondering, Richard, I
You
got,
see, my thing was.
I've got them on my copies.
Oh, I have it on my copy.
Mhm. Yeah, oh, I
They want
know.
us to fund the project.
No, well, that's why I think we
See,
should
that's
make
what
no. I have, what I did, Tom, is,
Can I see it?
Huh?
Not you, but,
well,
you know,
what
I'm
I,
interested in how anybody figured it out, you know?
I reevaluated once I listened to the personal presentation, and I looked at my points, I looked at what they requested, and then I determined what I
What you felt.
felt comfortable, yeah.
And that's the
And I'm
discussion.
not of the opinion to spend all 70,000 right now.
That's the conversation that I would have liked to have with everybody was.
Well, I think that's what we can do today, yeah. In fact, I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Would someone like to start talking about their full list yet?
Are we on?
I believe we
We're
are,
on.
yeah. Yeah,
I think she just went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. So we're waiting for you.
Joel, what do you think? Is there anything you wrote up? for me
Yeah.
that You thought?
Joe, did you want to start a conversation?
Well, I think, first of all, I think we should figure out how much, we have total $70,000 in money.
Well, we have $70,000 for the full year and $20,000 for, new events.
Okay, so
So-
we have 90,000.
So
So I
we-
think first of all, we should separate these for new events. Put an asterisk or something to let us, to vote on those ones first. I think we should vote on, we should vote on the first, the one that's been in, I don't know, last what, Trinidad Blues Fest is.
So you wanna, so your thing is you wanna do new events first?
I think we should do new
So-
events, cause that's gonna be,
So new events would be the Southwest Chief Festival and the historic home tours.
Right.
good.
And so,
Like Branson gravel grinder would be one of them.
well,
It's the second year.
Oh,
yes,
second-
it's second
okay,
year.
so that would be one.
First Friday Art Walk is the first, it's the first time they've ever done anything. Everybody else has done something.
So we'll do a point system that way?
Yeah.
Southwest Chief.
So Southwest Chief is one, what's the next?
The, historic home tours.
Home tours. Now, music and lyrics and Santa Fe Trail, I mean, Terra Fest, they're both, they've done them before.
No, the Terra Fest they haven't, they did it.
It
Terra
was
Fest.
just, it was the Trinity Fest.
It was the
They used to
Trinity
do the
Fest.
Trinity Fest.
But I think though, on the other part of it though, it's like two parts of the story. It's like, we gotta figure out, okay, the new events, but then on the second one is it creating revenue, you know, like tourists? I mean, are these gonna create more than 100 people or whatever number we're thinking? 25 people, 50 people coming to Trinidad?
So what usually has happened in the past, just as a precedent sort of discussion, is that the tourism board has funded initial projects to get them going. Probably the big one to note is like Artocade was funded. Blues Fest was funded in the Blues Fest, the first year that they started, they were like, I don't know how many people?
200.
200, and now it's turned into 5,000 people. And so some of that holds true if it only brings 200, but we have to see if it ends up being a signature event is probably a big deal, just to give you a full thing, I mean, you know.
And to be noted, it always used to be 501c3s.
Right.
And we used to fund some of them that were not 501c3s. And that should be, because many of these are for profit.
This is-
Businesses.
So I guess to start trying to go and take off what we can. Let's talk about the Mitchell Museum. I love the Mitchell Museum. I would like to help support the Mitchell Museum. But according to the grant program, we cannot fund past projects, which is what they're asking us to fund, not current or future projects. So that actually wouldn't qualify. I would love to send them a letter saying that we would love to help with the Mitchell Museum advertising and marketing. If they could send us back something, we could see if we could help with
An event.
an event or any advertising and marketing things to get into the hotel so people come downtown. The Mitchell Museum is so wonderful and Ellison is really working hard in there, but we can't, by the rules, we can't fund a past event. We have to fund a future event.
I totally agree with that one.
Okay.
And I'd like to add, I'm dismayed, I'm bothered by the financials that were sent. They're outdated and they're edited. She sent it from October 17th to September 18, 2018. But in their expense column, they show only about 20,000 legible expenses, but their total expenses are 90,000. So it's been edited, and I don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
I also believe that they should be doing more than advertising. There should be events. I am a proponent. I love the Mitchell, but I'm not happy with the lack of detail.
So we would.
I would just put that the Air Mitchell Museum doesn't meet the qualifications at this time.
Right.
But please come forward with any sort of information on any future events or advertising and marketing dollars for advertising the museum and bringing people into town.
Yes. I'm looking for sustainability.
And there is
There,
sustainability.
yeah, and
She
I just
didn't-
can't go back to 2018.
Let's talk about the farmer's market next. So we love the farmer's market. They've asked for $2,500. I think we could give them radio ads with a value of probably about $500 worth of radio ads.
Do we have that inside?
Radio ads,
Do we have $500?
we automatically have, so in KCRT, we have that program with KCRT that we're paying for ads year round, so they could have some of those ads with the value of up to $500 to advertise the farmer's market. So that would almost be in kind, because we're already paying for that, but we would let them have some of those ads.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, let's make a motion on A.R. Mitchell Museum. Thank you,
I make a
Tom.
motion on A.R. Mitchell Museum
To send them a letter.
to send them a letter
Past events.
that this is a past events, but we'd be more than willing to look at events in the future for them.
Sustainability is what we're looking at.
And a second to that?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And to add, wait, there's discussion.
Okay,
They need to, send updated, accurate, complete financials.
okay. Any opposed? Okay. Farmer's Market, so with the farmer's market, they asked for $2,500. Well, we could gift them $500 of our ads through KCRT, and anybody else would like to add to that?
Here's my thing is I would like to know what we have total with KCRT, because there's some other ones in there that we could give that to.
Well, I think we're gonna give a lot of radio ads. I think everybody was gonna get radio ads that wants to market.
I had made a comment on my sheet. One of the things, I know they try real hard and they're working to bring more things to the market. One of the things that bothers me about their financials, and I understand that they do take EBT cards, but their financials indicate they have $6,628 in EBT fee expenses, but their revenues are only $4,900. That's a $1,700 loss. Yeah.
So they must be, they're not at the even keel point, because you have to pay to use, those
You have
cards.
to pay to use
Yeah.
those cards, I
I
agree, and
understand
they
that.
probably took money to, I understand that, but, yeah,
That's a hefty
that's a
fee.
hefty thing that they're doing that year in and year out, you know,
Well, this is just for the year.
I know.
But they're $1,700 upside down.
So I guess what we're looking for is people coming and, improving economic impact into the downtown area. Does anybody want to add to any monies for the farmer's market?
I think I would like to add a couple $100 to,
Okay.
especially for their chili cook-off, when they do their chili cook-off later on in
Good
the
point.
summer, for ads. I know we could give them radio station themes, but I think they do advertise in other places for
They
the
work
chili.
hard, without a doubt.
For the chili cook-off, they do, and there's a couple vendors that do come out of Pueblo that they probably advertise for their chili cook-off. So, for advertising, and maybe even a flyer if they, and I know they do flyers to put in the motels, but, I agree with Nancy on their financials, and I think they do real well, but,
So would you say $500 in radio ads and $500 towards advertising and marketing hard things for this summer, or what would you say?
Oh, well, I would say $500 for a radio, and I don't see that they use any social media, which is free. I believe, I would go to $500 myself.
I would like to give them $500 down with the 500
How
ads,
about
because
this?
I have seen them, I've seen
Yeah.
them grow. There's a lot of activity there.
So how about this
You
then,
know.
based on that? $500 in radio ads and up to $500 reimbursement.
Right.
For any
Reimbursement, definitely.
reimbursement for any advertising and marketing thing that they do.
But they
So-
need to also add free social media.
Oh, yeah, okay, and we need to let them know the free social media. So.
but up to
Up to
$500.
So if they
Then
just
it's
turn
a
into if they turn their bills in because they advertise the farmer's market, then we will pay up to $500, okay?
So do
Can
we wanna do, instead of $500 in ads, do you wanna just make a number, towards the ads, for KCRT? Cause I don't think it's broken down by, I mean, it is broken down, but I think we should just give them like, say, 5 ads or 8, I think we should give them
A
an
number,
account, not,
like 20 ads.
or
Okay.
whatever it is,
That's a good point.
Radio ads.
20
Yeah.
radio.
Cause I think if we do
There you
500
go.
each one, I think
We're running out.
you're running out.
Okay.
You know,
So
that's
I think
why-
we need to figure
that's
out how
why
many
it's
ads we
flat.
have,
Just
and
flat.
then we break it down to
Right.
what we can give out. Cause I think if you do 500, I mean, the way I look at it is, you could spend $500 in 1 month, the way it's broken down, it's not broken down each month, it's exactly the same.
Right, so let's do,
So we should do so many amount of ads.
so what do you think, 20, 25 ads, or?
I mean, they go through what, June, is it June through?
They start in May.
Oh, they start
They're
in May
starting in
until-
May. I mean, it's fabulous that we have a farmer's.
And I don't think
How
they
about-
need a lot of ads right
How
now.
about so many each month?
Yeah, that's,
Since they go from May all the way to, so we give them 5 to 6 ads per month.
per month.
5 ads
On the
per
months
month.
that they're running.
Yeah, I think 5 ads would be a good count per month.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's 25 ads. They would be there in 5 months, 4 to 5 months.
I just don't wanna put a dollar amount on it, cause you could use that whole dollar amount in 1 month, the way the ads are broken
I
down.
agree with you, Joe.
Other
Okay.
than the,
And you
the-
Until
Yeah.
we get a balance of how many ads we have with them,
right,
do you know how much time we have with
And then the way
them?
the ads are broken down is by the time slot.
Right.
So the better the time slot, the more it costs.
So we would give them 25 ads
Right.
spread out over 3 months, plus $500 reimbursable for any advertising. 5, yeah.
And I agree.
5
5
months.
months, yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Okay, Trinidad History Museum.
Do you wanna vote on that?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we need to vote, thank you.
I make a motion to give them 5 ads per month over a 5-month period.
Right.
Right? And up to, with sending their bills in to us, up to $500 in special ads, different ads, up to $500. They have to send in the bills.
And social media?
Yes, and 3, they've got to
They
establish
have
some,
to do-
yeah.
Trinidad History Museum for,
Who seconded that?
oh, second, thanks.
Oh,
First meal.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Alright.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, the history, music, 2360.
Trinidad History Museum?
Trinidad History Museum, this is for the nights of music on Friday nights. Kirby does do a great job. I would also like to offer her 25 ads. And $1,000 reimbursable for ads that she has placed.
Sorry, I didn't hear that second part.
Well, it's kind of on the table.
Oh,
It's-
25, I don't wanna
It's
do this.
discussion.
It's discussion, I know, it's just there's so much here, there's so many. 25 ads plus $1,000 reimbursable up to $1,000.
Okay, what about the KRDO? Can we advertise, throw in a
Yes.
couple of
Yeah.
them with them?
Yeah,
And, you know,
absolutely.
we could do.
I think we should use those for the bigger events.
Okay,
I
well,
agree.
Okay,
I really do.
I
okay,
agree.
Okay.
all right.
okay,
Or the events where you will realize overnight visits.
right. So Trinidad History Museum, so it's on the, what do you guys think about 25 ads plus reimbursable up to $1,000?
I'm good with that.
Any open for discussion? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to give the Trinidad History Museum 25 ads throughout the summer, right? Is it so many per?
Throughout her music.
For
the
her,
series.
for
For
the
her
night of her
music
music,
series.
the night of her music.
Uh-huh.
And
the
then up,
season.
for the season, and up to $1,000
Reimbursable.
reimbursement. Send us the bills.
Okay.
Okay, how are we gonna do this?
We need a second, I
Second.
Camillus.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So do we wanna create a budget for, as far as putting a number on where we're gonna go on the amount, like
Oh,
for all these events?
Well, we will, that'll come in that spreadsheet.
I'm saying, we're at $1,500 right now. Do we wanna create a budget? Do we wanna create a budget for today? We're gonna spend
Right.
so much money?
That's right.
Cause I think we need to figure out how much money we're gonna spend today before we start voting. 500 here, 1,000 here, 20, you know,
Well,
whatever it is, cause you're gonna go over.
I'm kinda keeping track.
Yeah, so we're at 15.
What I'm trying to do is get the ones that are easily
Yeah, easy.
understand, and then the bigger
Figure out
ones
the rest.
that we have to, there's not too many of these small ones, they're almost all big, you know, so I'm trying to get through the small ones first. So we did vote
So what are
on
we giving Trinidad History now?
Trinidad History, we gave them $1,000 plus 25 ads, is that right, Kim?
Yes.
We're giving them up to $1,000.
Up to $1,000 with
You know, they
with-
might not spend that
Right,
$1,000.
right,
Well, if she's asking for $2,600, she surely is gonna spend $1,000.
Well, yeah, we're just assuming that's what she's gonna spend.
And then there would be a common area too, so the ones that we've discussed are sort of in like, she's in the common area, so her points were 168 points. The highest points were 244 points for the Blues Fest, so sort of like, she's 50% of the top scores, and we kind of funded that 50%. It's gonna be tough, guys, I mean, we only have so much money.
Yeah.
So can we determine if we're gonna go into next grant cycles with money, or if we're gonna use it all now?
I think once we get down with a few little ones, that's where the big dollars is we're gonna talk about. Okay, Branson gravel grinder, they're asking for 700.
I say give it to her.
I'd say give it to her. This is where we wanna build on, we wanna build
Our
on
bikes are,
cycling.
I'm saying give it to her.
okay, so can we have a motion for approving it for $700?
I move that we approve Branson Gravel Grinders, application for $700.
Up to $700 or $700?
$700.
$700, okay. All in favor, or wait, roll call?
Second.
Second? Who seconded?
I second it.
Camilla seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Trinidad Triggers Baseball, 186 points. She's asked for $2,000. Her budget is huge. Open for discussion.
I would like to give them the whole 2,000.
I'd like to give them the whole 2,000.
I believe that it's an event that's been built up to a good thing, and that she's added 4th of July to it.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a lot of, and remember, the money comes from overnight stays in Trinidad, and she gets a lot of overnight stays, you know, just because I'm in the hotel business, the amount of grandma, grandparents, aunts and
Yeah.
uncles, nieces and nephews that come to those games and stay in hotels and watch those kids play.
And that's where I wanna see the money at. Our money comes from motels that we give out, so that's the money that I wanna give back.
So would somebody like to make a motion for the 2,000?
I make a motion that we fully fund the triggers for the 2019 season.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, so now it's getting a little dicey here. Let's go to, Trinidad Historic Main Street, 4th of July.
I think you gotta go on the second page and get that the younger one, that smaller one.
They went, their points were 181 points, so they were 4th from the top. It is a major event that we do in town.
Did you want to do historic home tours? It's the first year.
Well, I'm gonna do the first years together in just a minute.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Cause they're
All right,
together.
gotcha.
Okay.
Southwest Chief Festival and
We're
Historic
baseball
Hometowns.
triggers. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Historic Main Street, 4th of July.
right. So, open for the board, the city takes in money and has already supplied, because we had weather last year, supplied for the fireworks itself. They do stuff all week long. It is a partnership within the city, and we're close to the historic Main Street because they obviously do tourism like we do. Open for discussion?
There was a question, or I have a question. The fireworks that were canceled last year?
Yeah, that's taken this year's place.
Okay, so nothing was spent.
No.
It was
So
canceled and nothing
it was
was.
a 3-year contract for, I think, $25,000 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And how nice that this company
Let you cancel.
let us cancel and
Okay.
reuse that this
Okay.
year, because, I mean, it's the time of year they make money, they're a fireworks company.
Right. I was actually kind of surprised how little they requested. I would like to give them, you know, my thought was $4,500, but that included in that were,
Okay, gotcha.
some of the
Yeah,
KRDO, KCRT,
No, that's a great point. So this is one of those that would really be inspired by having a KRDO ad
Yeah.
on July 4th.
Yeah.
So we would gift them a KRDO ad.
A couple maybe.
Yeah, because here's the good example of what you have with the KRDO. If you go to their schedule that they gave us today,
Mhm.
you can see how much we have in July.
Mhm.
So we can give them a lot before July, in
Yeah,
the month of
right.
June.
Yeah. So,
And I think people do look to kind of maybe go.
Get out.
yeah, no, I think Trinidad's
Yeah,
been
get
more
us on
known
board.
of stuff going on. I mean, it's a whole week long of events. If anybody has seen
Yeah.
the amount of stuff
So
that they
what
do
is,
that week.
is there a dollar amount on 20? Is there a dollar
Well, it
amount?
just says 280, so it'd be broken up.
280 ads?
No,
No.
it even has a money breakdown on it as to
Oh, yeah.
how much money you can give, you know.
No, it's great.
It's like $14 an ad.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
so we could start maybe.
You can start in June, the first of June.
Mid-June,
Uh-huh, good, yeah.
yeah, you could do mid-June.
maybe 2 weeks.
And how many ads does the form say?
It's 104 monthly summary is what it is.
104 a
Yeah,
month.
so I mean, you can do 25,
Yeah,
you know, from
Okay.
June to July 3rd.
okay, so let's, do,
And what we could also do is combine, we talked about this, combining triggers and the July 4th, week. I don't know what the trigger schedule is, but I'm pretty sure they're home
yeah,
sometime on
yeah,
that week.
absolutely. Tim always makes sure of it.
Make sure. Make sure, yeah.
So, that would be kind of a double whammy, getting a trigger game and the 4th of July week.
Well, they actually are playing
I
the
think-
game right before the fireworks.
Right, they always, yeah,
So,
yeah, the last 2 years they did.
maybe we could look at triggers and Main Street in a combined ad for
Sure.
KRDO.
Mhm. Sure. And then take some of that money back from, or some of that time back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 25 ads is good. If they do 50 ads together, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
25 ads with KRDO, how about with KCRT?
25 ads.
I think,
25 ads with KCRT
uh-huh,
and $4,500.
I think that's good. I'm comfortable with that.
I say 4.
What do you think, Norm?
Well, I was gonna give them the whole amount, so, you know, there you go.
Joey?
It may be the deciding factor, no, you know what I'm saying?
So,
Why don't we settle at this? So those,
I think 4 is good. I mean, just because we're giving the triggers 2,000, I mean, it's kind of gonna fall on that same day.
if we can
I
combine
mean,
them.
if you can combine them,
Yeah.
I think that's a fair,
I mean, that's
why don't we,
especially with the ads. I mean,
Okay.
the whole part of that marketing package is getting those ads on KRDO.
Right.
give me just a second here, guys, 4, 5, 6.
I mean, because you figure if we give them 4, we're at like $8,500 already, around there.
So, the KRDO ads are about,
Even
are
2.
about $350 worth for 25 ads. The KCRT ads are probably worth about 300, that's 650. So why don't we, entertain giving them $4,300 plus all those ads?
I'm fine with that.
You're fine with that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Okay.
I could live with the 300.
Okay,
Uh-huh. We need a motion on the table to approve.
so moved. How's that?
Second,
So what do you have to add?
$4,300 plus an additional $650 worth of ads, so they,
Okay.
so they technically get $4,650.
Who seconded that?
Who seconded?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Doing a lot of seconds.
Okay, so, let's talk about, let's get the new ones out, because there's 20 grand there for new events. The 2 new events are Southwest Chief Festival, since Wally's here, and the Historic Home Tours. Open for discussion.
Well, okay.
I don't think it's, well, I think it's been a long time since we've seen anything come forward as Southwest Chief has come before us, and you should be commended on all the work you've done. And all the enthusiasm and excitement you've created. I will say that the notoriety that you have brought to Trinidad is well worth your $10,000.
I appreciate that.
That's my opinion.
Anyone else open for talking about both of those new events in town? Remember, we're striving for people that'll stay overnight. We're striving for another signature event or signature festival, signature something in Trinidad. So it's another thing that people say, this year we need to go there for this reason. This year we need to go there for this reason.
I mean, I think this event's the event. I mean, you have 80, comedians coming and they have to stay somewhere, so that's creating lodging right there unless Cy's giving all the free rooms out to them all.
Only a few.
And hopefully the tickets are getting sold, and stuff like that, but I mean, it should be a pretty good event. I mean,
And it's like
3 days event.
Yeah, and it's like Trinidad. You want to hear Trinidad's name when you're in downtown Chicago, getting on that train that they're coming to Trinidad, Colorado, Trinidad, Colorado, Trinidad, Colorado, Trinidad, Colorado. And also, that reminds me, any of these events that we fund have to have our signature logo, and that letter that we give them.
In addition to that, it's not just the comedians, it's the tie-in of
Yeah.
another
Tie-in.
event,
Yeah.
which is what I think, I was referring to about the Main Street and the triggers. Anytime we can bundle together events is, a good bang for our buck.
Here's the one thing that I could say is, we were gonna do a $100 and some thousand advertising package, but we decided to take $20,000 out of that $100 and some thousand and start new events. So that's where this $20,000 of new funding had come from. And this is what we were looking for. We're looking for this with sustainability to come back year after year. And I feel that I would like to give you the $10,000 out of the new money that we have created, because that's what we created it for. And I had expressed to you before, I read your package and I like the way you put it together.
It's very informative.
So,
Joey?
I'm all in.
Me too.
Yeah, I think the 10,000 should be good. I think that we can't give no KRDO ads because we don't have them, available yet. But I think we could definitely do some KCRT ads, to start, especially before, the next 2 weeks, which is coming up now.
I would just
really start promoting.
I would just give him the $10,000 out of the new money and save
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
That way it all comes out of that.
Just comes out of it.
Yeah, out of that new funding for new events.
So do we have a motion on the table to approve the 10,000 as a new event for the Southwest Chief Festival?
I so move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's work now on the historic home tours.
Thanks. I'm gonna go tell my investor.
Historic home tours through the chamber.
So this one is kind of, I don't think they're really ready to put this on yet, because going through the last meeting, Tom knew more about the houses that were getting toured than the actual speakers. I just don't think that this one's ready, for that $13,550. For that kind of money, I don't think you're gonna get our money back from it.
No, I don't think the 13,000. I do think the event, though, is worthy of consideration with some advertising dollars or spots and some assistance, because one of the attractions of Trinidad is its history and its architecture. I think that, yes, this is new. She was not clear on how many homes she had, but I recall, I thought she said she talked to 3 homeowners, but she was going to build it from there because she wanted a 2-day event. So
I may suggest with hearing both of those, that there's a certain amount of money that is reimbursable for advertising and promoting this event, so that means that they for sure have to do it and find more than 3 houses.
Right.
So it's a reimbursable, that means if they place the ads because they're actually doing the event, then we would reimburse that, so we'd have to figure out what that money would be.
Well, I just don't think they were prepared. 3 houses is not gonna get
Yeah.
us.
Well, she admits
And
that.
but then she needs to come back to us with a
Well-
little better of a
Right.
plan. Because myself, I don't think she's prepared. I don't think, if I'm gonna tour my house, I'm sorry, but insurance, she didn't even mention anything about carrying insurance.
Well,
for
those
these
are things
houses.
we can go back to her
We could
with.
need to go back to her on this, and she needs to come back with a little bit of better plan.
So maybe since it is the chamber, we could say we could reimburse ads up to $2,000 and would, for this, if she puts the program together, and if she does well, we could get her more money on next round.
Did she say when she was planning on this tour?
August 10th and 11th.
When?
This year.
This year.
This year, August,
August.
yeah.
Okay. So, I got listening to you guys to have her come back with more information.
Mhm.
More
And-
information. She
And
needs-
like I agree with Nancy, and I agree with Joey. My thing is I would like to see them start at the small scale. I did see this, I don't know if anybody else in here ever went and seen them, but they would get over 100 people in all these homes that they did get.
Right.
So it is something, but I just don't think they realize.
Well, what I would like to propose is that we send her a detailed letter with points that we would like, a complete list of homeowners that she has commitments from, her insurance, and, whatever
A
other
more
information.
detailed plan.
Yes.
It
You
was
know, on all of these things, I'm wondering, are they providing you with a budget of what these costs?
it was a
Yes.
request, it was
It
a
was a request
requirement.
and they did.
Some of them were more detailed than others.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be good
and
for you
some
to
didn't
find.
supply
Anything.
And if they
Yeah.
don't supply anything, then I
That's
think.
right.
then-
Well, yeah, see, that's one of the first things that should have been discussed was
Well, and the
who
new
has
ones-
and who hasn't.
Yeah, and the new people, obviously, they're suggesting where they'd like to advertise. They don't have a historical budget, so,
Right.
but,
This way you know how they're gonna,
Yeah.
what their needs are, is how they're
Right.
gonna.
So I think what I'm hearing is that we like the idea, we would like
To fund it.
to fund the idea, but they would need to bring us back with a more detailed package in the second round in June.
But
one thing that I have thought about is, on these new projects, maybe we could think about establishing an incubator for new projects, where, the same as you have incubators for new businesses. And this project is one of those where it's a good idea and we wanna help her, but how much does $2,000 help her or the ambassadors? So is there a way that we can establish, and maybe something we can discuss in the work session, an incubator situation?
Here's the way it was done before. I think, 1 or 2 of the churches did it.
Oh.
Is how they did it. And then this is how they got money to fix up one of the churches. I can't remember what church it was. And then it was like $10 or something. But, I just think that they just needed a plan, a better plan as to
Yeah.
where they're going. And I think that if they came up with a better plan, or a better plan for us to understand, that they would come in the June grant cycle to ask for funding.
Well, that goes to the point of an incubator, where they sit down, and maybe these are training sessions that we have with people before they make the proposal.
I agree.
Okay, so that means that exactly just what we said, we're gonna ask them to come back with a more detailed plan, that we would like to fund it. We love the idea, but there wasn't enough information for us to,
But I definitely support it.
yeah.
So you'll need to table that,
And then just.
vote on tabling?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we'll have
we
them come
could-
back in June
we
on our
could
next
vote not
round.
to fund this,
Oh, what you
but
can do
we
is,
would,
what you need to do with this, because it's on
Just
consideration,
table.
you need
Oh.
to table it.
Table.
Take make a motion to table and then take a vote on to table.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
And then just
So I
reorganize.
move that we table, the historical home tour
Right.
until we receive information from the applicant for insurance information, homeowner commitments, in more detail, financial information.
I second that.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, Trinidad Terror Fest, we need more paperwork. We didn't vote on that one yet. The Trinidad Terror Fest, these are the Loudons, I think they did a fabulous job on the Trinity Fest. I'm sorry that it never took off. I think the Terror Fest is a great idea. I don't think they submitted enough paperwork for them to qualify with the grant process, but I love the idea, and I really can't commend them more for, I really love the Trinity Fest idea. This is a Terror Fest, not a Trinity Fest. I was kind of scared about it until, they talked about it, and I think it's really hip and cool, but I think they need to, resubmit.
Well, one thing that I would like to add about the Loudons, that they started the Trinity Fest out of personal funding.
Yeah, I know, they're fabulous. I can't say enough
They-
about them. I really can't.
There's not a lot of groups that
No.
have put that much
I
money into
agree.
there. So, another incubator.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we would table that one too. So a vote to
No.
table?
Second.
You okay with that, Tom?
well, did they complete the grant application?
No.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're not funding it.
Yeah.
So we're not tabling it,
Oh. Well,
right? Because the grant application hadn't been filled out right.
right, so they could resubmit.
Right, in the.
So, yeah,
So this grant application wasn't accepted because it
So you
wasn't,
can vote to deny.
right. And then they can
Reapply.
reapply,
so
right?
who would like to make that motion? Tom?
I make a motion that we not accept this application. They could resubmit in June
Uh-huh.
and have a financial statement for us.
Yeah. No, you know,
I
you see that.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, I just think that, I really never understood why they had Trinity Fest. I think it was just the timing was it didn't take off because they did a fabulous job on it. Okay, so what we have left now is Santa Fe Trail and the Blues Fest. So Santa Fe Trail, wait a minute.
No, we got music and lyrics.
Music and lyrics.
And
Oh,
First
yeah,
Friday.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I put my own on the
And we haven't done the art walk.
Yeah,
That's
right,
first.
the last
Okay,
three.
That's first.
Okay, so
Santa
let's-
Fe Trail.
Okay, so let's talk about Music and Lyrics Festival.
The same applies to that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not filled out properly.
So that,
It's not, it's, under the grant applications, it's not been filed in the proper.
yeah, we really love this. We really do love this music and lyrics, but it wasn't.
Is it part of the poetry and?
I think with this, the
Oh, I
Terror
don't think so.
Fest, I think the Terror Fest and this one here, I think the grant application needs to be sent with the letter that, you know, to read it fully and follow all the guidelines in it. You know, and I think people are gonna understand that you have to fill out the grant form properly before
We
we
need to
can
read that.
accept it. Because it's not fair for us to make everyone else fill out a financial statement from everybody else. And certain people, we just can't give them the money.
Right.
I think that the one thing that you could do is that, and you may already have that in your information, that if they are submitting anything, if they do not fill it out completely,
Right.
that they wouldn't be considered.
And-
That way we wouldn't be in this.
And Marty
And
and
we
I
would
had
be in it.
had a discussion about this, that she informed me that she had called them that did not have the information in there to get it into us, and
But that's
never
not,
did.
she shouldn't have to do that.
No, because the application is pretty clear.
But should it go through Marty, you know, before we even see it? I mean, she should
She
scan
should
through them.
have
and she
scanned it,
shouldn't-
never,
Yeah, she
never brought
came
it
in
to
front of
us.
us.
Yeah,
Right.
good point, Joey. We
Because
should
it's
never
a
see-
waste
she
of
should've-
time, we're going
yeah.
through them all if we're not
Yeah.
even.
Right.
She should've said, I don't have a
This is
complete
by
record.
push them to
one
the
that I've
side.
seen today that.
Right.
has that.
Right.
And when they did submit, we really should have considered them under new, because it's not under the poetry and other one that's just
Oh.
coming up, it's a different one.
It's a different one.
But, it would be considered under the new, incubator one. Okay, First Friday's art walk,
That's the same thing, isn't it? You can't
Yeah.
fill out his paperwork either.
yeah, he didn't fill out his paperwork either. So again, we're all for it, but he's gotta have the paperwork full out, so we need a,
Where, oh, we have that motion on.
Motion, yeah.
That's from the.
Yeah, thanks.
Not approve.
music and lyrics, who motioned?
I did the last one.
I'll make a motion to not approve music lyrics because of their paperwork's not filled out correctly.
Second? Second. Roll call?
Yes,
All approved?
all approved.
Any
We're
opposed?
just, we're done with that.
Yeah, we're just trying to find different phraseology at this point.
I'll make a motion to deny the First Friday Art Walk for the same reason the paperwork wasn't filled out correctly.
Okay, second?
I
Second.
Approve, all approve.
Any opposed? Okay, now we're back at
Santa Fe Trail
Trail
Festival.
Festival. Okay, there's,
No financials.
man, it just
And
kills
this
me.
year after year after year, we ask them for the financials, and year after year, we don't get them.
Denied.
From them,
Yes.
Yeah, it's really painful, this
It
one's
is
really
painful.
painful, because it's downtown Trinidad, they're bringing it, I wanna support the chamber, I think that Linda Barron has worked so hard for this,
But it doesn't matter,
and
Simon.
I
it
know.
just kills me.
It kills me.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
That's right.
okay, I'll make a motion to deny Santa Fe Trail Festival because the paperwork's not filled out correctly.
It's not, the package was incomplete.
Yeah, it's incomplete.
Package was incomplete. And I hate to do that to them.
I know,
I second.
and this is, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This is where Marty May could have helped us by when they turned it in a month ago, saying, hey, this isn't a complete packet, and giving it back to
But
us.
Si, we
It should
do
come
this
in front of
every
us.
year to
I know,
Chamber of
but
Commerce.
really, it should really, I mean, even if we do it every year, that's really the respectable things to do. We're a
I
community,
know.
we are trying to
I know.
support
I
these
hate
people.
to.
They shouldn't have been waiting for a month for us to say your paperwork isn't completely filled out.
But Si,
Yeah,
the cover page of the grant applications
I know,
are
you're right.
complete,
I know.
and they are the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so to recap, we have funded $10,000 under new events. We have funded 2,700, no, 7,000 in
Cash refund.
yeah, in cash, and then up to $1,200 with, ads placed. And so, now we have the Blues Fest.
So the total amount that we have is 90,000, right?
Yeah, you actually split it up, you'll
We have
70,
20 and
70
70.
yeah. So what that does mean to anybody that's listening here is we still have $10,000 for new events.
Well, let's see.
And that's for any of these who fill out the grant applications right, that they
That's
can
right.
come back in June.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about the Blues Fest.
Okay, before you get talking about the Blues Festival, I want to make something, I'm not sure if any of you, I know there's two that are deeply involved, but you're okay as long as you're not on board to discuss and vote. That's the only thing, that's the problem.
Yeah. So I have to leave.
And he abstained
You
before.
have to abstain at least.
Yeah.
And not in all the discussions.
No.
And he abstained in the point
Okay.
structure too. So this was the greatest, point system that was. It is a signature event. They've requested $36,000, and that would be $3,000 a month. Joey?
How much, before we get started, how much money do you guys have left from the events? What's the dollar amount you have left?
We have $63,000 left.
Okay.
I did the numbers for this at one point, and it does generate a huge amount of income for Trinidad. I can't remember that, but it's shockingly high. It's with room revenues and tickets and going out to eat once or twice. It's a huge amount of revenue. I wish I had that figure in front of me. I mean, it might be like $1 million worth of spending money that happens in Trinidad because of the Blues Fest. So, you know, and many communities would like to have a signature event as much as the Blues Fest has grown to be. So, Joey, what's your thoughts?
I mean, their biggest expense is marketing, especially on an event like this. I think that what they were coming into on that package was they're really trying to hit marketing, you know, on KCRT, KRDO. That's what I saw a lot of their budgeting was for marketing and stuff like that. We have a lot of ads, you know, on KRDO coming up, you know, we can give 75 ads through KRDO. We could probably give another 50 ads through KCRT for advertisement. I'm comfortable, you know, given, you know, that many ads plus, you know, my money dollar amount is like $25,000. I think that should be plenty for what they need, and then all the advertising that they're going to get.
So the total.
Not that it doesn't create a lot of revenue, because
Right,
it creates
it does.
a ton of revenue.
So that would be a little over $2,000 a month, is what you're saying. Yeah. And the biggest thing they do besides the event, which is spectacular, is that you go to so many places and your city's Trinidad-io. So that's what we want. We want our name out all over all the big cities, that people can even talk about. I want to go to the event, even if they don't go to the event, because it's a time that they can't. So I'm comfortable with $2,500 a month. A month, because this is a monthly thing.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, it goes monthly.
Reimbursable. I'm talking about print. You're talking about reimbursable.
I'm talking about months, so they've asked for $3,000 a month for a year.
Right.
I'm talking about $2,500 a month.
Well, why is it for a year?
Because they advertise year round.
They advertise year round, and these
Yeah.
magazines come year round.
Yeah, so they budgeted.
Oh, I shouldn't be talking, yeah, I'm not on board.
You're on a committee.
You're safe, as long as you're not on board.
I'm not on board.
Yeah, but you have
But I'm
knowledge.
just explaining
Yeah.
how they do it. That
Yes.
one magazine is due in January, and if you don't get your magazines, he's already printed it though.
I actually
He's already
feel,
printed it.
I feel like we, you know, cause I like to manage our money. And I feel like we manage our money better with the Trinidad-io by not giving them $30,000 or $20,000 at once, that we give them $2,500 a month, because it forces them to go and do ads year round about Trinidad.
Well, and I shouldn't be speaking, but his ads come in December, you have to have them ready and done so they could be printed in January. And that's what a lot of these magazines are, we know that.
So along that line, then maybe,
It's okay, Camilla.
You're not on the board, Camilla, right?
she's on a committee within the board.
Okay.
Is there holdover money from last year?
Oh, I'm not on board, I don't have no idea on that.
Well, you
one.
just spoke about it, that's why I'm
But
asking.
I
No,
tell
that's
you
a
when
good
they do
question.
the ads, though.
Well, because, so the ads that they place in January, do they submit those ads for reimbursement?
No, I'm sure there's money left over that they're doing their ads on.
Okay, so are those ads in here that they're asking to be reimbursed?
I see what you're saying.
You know, this just has their proposed budget for the upcoming festival, which I love the festival, don't get me wrong, I'm just trying to understand.
I understand what you're saying. I understand, because when Jerry first submitted this application, it was back in September, guys. We didn't have the money, that's when he because that's when he started doing his ads. And that's what he wanted from September to September, and it is now April, and we're just discussing it.
Does the city give any money towards this, is it besides?
No, we didn't.
So there's money from the city?
I think we gave 25,000, I believe,
I think
See,
so.
this is where they're asking for, but what
Yeah,
of
there's
these
one to
ads
be-
have
yeah.
been paid for?
Because they asked, I
For
think, for
reimbursement.
35,000, and we gave them 25,000, plus the, the balance of the in-kind of an additional 10,000 for in-kind of other stuff.
Right.
So Joey's in for $2,000 a month, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, I'm in, well, it's, cause it's requested 36,000, I was in for 25,000 to give him, and then do 100, or 75 ads through KRDO.
So 25,000 divided by 12, you know, is a little over 2,000.
Yeah. And they're asking 2,500 or 3,000?
Yeah. So there you go, that's, so,
But the thing that I do have a problem with is we're matching exactly what the city's matching. So if we give them that 25,000, the city's giving them 25,000. We have a lot less money through our tourism money than the city. Like their budget's way higher than our
Right.
tourism money, so we're matching exactly what the city's matching. So I think if this is our main event, I think we should be able to match what the city's doing to create the biggest event in Trinidad.
You know,
I think
that was,
this
it
is
was 30 that we gave, it was 30,000.
So it'd be 55,000, you know, just from city and tourism board. So if this is our signature event, saying that the tourism board is, Blues Fest is our signature event, I think we should do at least 25,000.
25,000 plus ads on KRDO and ads on
And KCRT.
KCRT. They would be able to use those KRDO ads more because they work a deal with KRDO.
Well, they've got KRDO.
They have KRD, that last year they.
So maybe we could reimburse KRDO's bill by having, you know what I mean, that line item.
Well, I think if they're trying to make a signature event, I mean, the more publicity you have, you know, if they're doubling up on KRDO, the better.
You gotta
know.
realize that I'll speak, Rusty and Jared just went up there for an interview. They were on TV on an interview. So, that's
No,
what
I
they
mean,
did.
I-
If it's more shown and it's fresh in your head, more people are gonna come, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you keep seeing that ad over and over and over, I
Right.
think people are gonna get familiar, like, okay, here's the dates, let's
Well,
buy
and
the
it's
tickets.
a tradition,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
And you know, I do all these Colorado Tourism Board leadership things, and they constantly tell you, if you and your city does not put money into events and make yourself a signature music, signature, you know, different signature events, you will not grow because your name is not getting out there.
Here's really what I'd like to see is if we give them that 25,000, or say we give them 25,500. I still think we should buy a $500 guitar, have all the people sign it, and then raffle that off
I agree.
through the tourism board.
Can I say that on?
But I think there was something with the raffle, right?
Yeah, the only thing with the raffles,
Is
you gotta get
the
some
only-
to raffle license.
The only thing I'd like to see on that, and it doesn't, and I probably shouldn't, but, we do one through a fundraiser for the fire.
Fire
I would like
department
to
does
see
that.
some artwork.
Yeah.
I would like to get
Yeah,
the,
or-
I would
The
like to
fire
get this.
department does a fundraiser with.
I would like to get
all
the,
signatures.
and it would be getting the art
People.
involved. And it's just reaching out to more people to get involved.
Yeah, and we have our bands
But I
again,
agree with
and
you.
that is through the Shop at the Clock, they're doing that again this year. That's where they make their fundraiser.
So.
I mean, wouldn't it be cool, like, to say we have somebody paint, like, a cool picture, since our biggest acquisition that we've created is Fisher's Peak, have them create a Fisher's Peak painting, and then the Blues Fest below it, you know, showing that it's lit up, and then whoever paints it and wins that, we give that off, so we could pay the artist, you know, $500 or whatever we decide, and then auction that off or raffle that off. Cause I think that'd be cool to go to a festival and you win something special like that, it's a one-of-a-kind piece, and
And they could advertise it on stage in between.
They do. They do the-
Yeah.
and you can put our logo on it, have
You
them
do
put
the-
our, you know, our tourism logo on that painting.
What you might do too is, like I said, if you do an art piece, is try to find one of the most notarized, artists in the community. Find a couple and see which one might even do it for free, just to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it is it's bringing more people into the event, is what I would like to see, you know.
Tom does have a good idea, I like that, because it includes the art district.
Yeah, no, I
Mhm.
agree.
By the way.
What were your ticket sales last year? How many do you think? What was your attendance?
I count the tickets. I counted 4,800 tickets. And, you know, I tell you what, everywhere I go, and you can go to Salida, Salida has a lot of these events, and they fund them. And can you imagine in the last 17 years, how many of those people have come back, and not only come back, brought somebody with them, and then how many of those people have actually relocated here? You know, there is it's something that a lot of people look forward to. When it was missed, it was missed. It was a missed event, and it's. I can honestly tell you, it's a clean event. It's a there's never no hassle in it. And downtown, what it's proved what it's done for downtown. All you gotta do is look at some of the pictures of the past of downtown, and this will be the 3rd year for it being downtown, and I mean it's just good, clean fun, and I think it's for the city to be on board with this. I think it's just a plus for Trinidad.
Yeah. Yeah, it does bring, I just did the figure again, it does bring about $1 million worth of revenue into the city, and then that's $1 million, and there's sales tax on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I drove it down last year. A
Thank
lot
you,
of
Jen.
people did not know that there was the pre-fest downtown. We had, they word of mouth when they got to the hotel. It was, I don't think it was advertised, was it?
Oh, it's advertised.
Yeah.
For the pre-fest downtown?
Oh, yeah.
And it's on the ticket.
It's on the tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
It's on the posters, it's on the
Yeah.
tickets.
a lot of people are like, oh, we didn't even know it was happening, or we missed it,
And we
Yeah.
can
It's a
have, did
ton of
we have,
people.
rides back and forth to the motels?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. We have the rides all the way to the dam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And then we moved them last year to Friday nights too, right?
Yeah,
We
in the
did
wall.
it Friday,
Yeah.
yeah, Friday and Saturday, yeah, yeah. I will mention that.
I don't know, it's just, we picked up people
I'm already
on
getting
Saturday,
people
they had
calling
no
me in my
idea.
shop, coming in my shop.
I just think
because
that
I
the
can't
money
deal with
gets, whatever the city gives, the money gets it back.
10 times, yeah.
And the advertisement that it gives year round to the city of Trinidad.
that. And our shop owners, our people downtown were overwhelmed those nights, especially Friday nights, so that's one of their best days. They could walk away the rest of the month because that made their month.
Well, I mean,
Really?
I think
Yeah.
with this event, I mean, if they're needing help, if they're asking help from tourism board, which they are, because they're looking for money, what if we spent $5,000 on banners? Cause it sounds like, that they didn't know about the pre-fest, like, they put the big banner across right here. Like, what if we created banners where, each part of the city, or something that they could see what people are coming in, that this a big event's coming in, we could use that money
Well,
towards that too. And have it print it, or have them
No,
print it and then we reimburse it.
Well, what if we do what you recommended, the 25 plus, the banners, and/or I know that, it would be an advertising and marketing tool, is to buy a tent for $5,000 that has Trinidad, Colorado, and our logo on it that they can use every year, so when people are out there, because they desperately need a tent, that's one of their biggest line item expenses.
But can I tell you something? They have a lot of posters being printed up, and I don't know, I will mention to that because there is Tommy, the printers that we got.
I agree with Joey on 2 banners that we buy and we always have
Yeah, we
with
have.
our logo on it. Whether we give them the
Okay.
money to buy them but I do agree that, Joey's idea is a good idea.
Well, I think, Trinidad Tourism Board welcomes the Blues Fest, and then you don't have to put it,
Yeah.
just put the date.
There's so many things you can put on
Yeah,
there. The
that's-
city of Trinidad
yeah.
sponsors it, the
You know,
tourism.
Simon, you
board.
had actually a good idea, and I think that's something, moving forward in next year and year after next, consider, like you said, maybe a tent, like I said,
Mhm.
whatever it costs. And, what it would help do, if you could fund something different each year,
Yeah.
and it would eventually reduce their costs, their hard costs on some
Yeah.
of this other stuff, so that's an avenue that maybe you guys can consider
Yeah,
each year.
I mean, I really think our name being out there, right in the huge crowd, Trinidad, you're even remembering that as a memory, and it helps reduce their final line item in future years, because they pay so much money for these tents.
I mean, I think it'd be, yeah, I think buy a
Tents and
tent.
banners.
I think you do a tent banner and then you have a piece of artwork that, you know, we raffle
Yeah,
off.
no, I absolutely believe
I
that.
think you put
I do that.
our, you know, our own
Yeah.
tent there with that big piece of artwork
Mhm.
and give out some bottled waters, I mean,
Uh-huh.
or whatever, just from.
It's marketing
our
for
board.
Trinidad.
It's marketing for Trinidad, and like we have the young ambassadors that we could use, you know, that Marty
Mm-hmm.
works with, to pass out water. You know, I think it'd just be a good thing, you know, for us.
So the motion then, Joey, would be,
Well, my motion would, well, see, I think that's what I think we really need to you know, put something in there with the artwork. I think we gotta give something out. I think if we're gonna give out this money, I think everybody needs to know that the tourism board is giving something towards the Blues Fest as far as a piece that we're gonna give out.
So you want to commission a guitar?
Or painting
artwork.
or something like.
that all the artists sign, and then it's auctioned off.
Yeah, it's
So
auctioned.
your motion, I'm just trying to do this to start to talk about it, a motion. So your motion would be, to $25,000 and up to $5,000 for guitar, banners, and funds towards the tents.
Yes. That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I just think that artwork's gonna be just really.
No,
cool.
I think
puts
they'll
us
make a
seven
lot of
separate.
money off of it. It'll
Can
be-
I
I
ask
think
you,
the artwork,
what did you want?
I'm gonna be very
what did
honest,
you want the money
the
from that?
Trinidad Fire Department does a raffle for guitar.
Well,
They do
back to
bikes.
us.
I think back to us so we can do something. I mean, if we get the money back to us, then we could even put it towards another event or something.
I got you.
So no ads then, right? No KRDO ads?
Oh, yeah. And in addition to that, a new motion, we would also like to do,
Or just add to it?
yeah, or add to the motion, would we like to give them any KRDO ads?
I think, what do you think, 50?
Well-
What do you guys think?
Well, they
That's-
have
yeah, that's-
KRDO
yeah,
in their budget.
They do.
They do.
They do, they
Ah.
have it in their budget, yeah. Okay, so it sets us.
Yeah, we don't need to know that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
okay.
And I'm gonna be very honest, they have the radio station, Kenny Sadak does a blues thing every Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
They advertise the heck out of it, he still does it, he's
Yeah.
on the radio right now as
And
well.
I'm fine meeting,
Yeah.
you know.
He does it all year long.
Rusty and them to start getting this art thing, you know, figured out. Like, I think even those, I think those banners, I mean, having that up, you know, for a month ahead of time, I think it just kind of, I think it's cool to see it when you walk, going to Trinidad and you see a banner, you know, welcoming what's coming up. I think it
And
brings
I want you to
excitement.
know, they do put it on
Yeah.
Central Park, the
There
banners.
was something I was gonna mention to you, and I brought this up.
We should have our own banner
We're
there.
going to do the raffle, we're gonna have to get someone with a raffle license, and there's two people.
Mount
the
Carmel's
TCF and
just
the-
starting to get it.
There's the TCF, and the other one is, I think, is the Knights of Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
And if they'll explain to one of them who sponsor you for that, the only thing I know that TCF is that you have to be a member, so the tourism, you can pay, do a $50 membership or whatever it requires as a membership, and then all of you guys can sell tickets for that.
No, it's a great idea, Phil.
That's what
Can,
it is.
That's
yeah,
what it
so
is.
can the tourism board become a member?
Sure.
Yeah, $50.
Whatever.
Well, you wanna make that motion?
I think it's 50 or 100, I
Yeah,
gotta
you
get the
did.
ball.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Did we go through them all? Let's check.
Can we
I
get a
got
total?
my list.
Let's get a total of everything.
So what would be nice is, I mean, before the next meeting is once we get the total on here, is to have it on that actual
Yes.
budget, so we know where we're at going into the next
I'll
meeting.
bring
We,
it over to
what,
you.
what we
Thank you.
requested was an inventory and a balance and a budget.
Of where we're totally at.
Okay. Anybody have anything before we adjourn? Great job, guys. I
Great
know this
job.
wasn't an easy process, and we've been working on it for weeks to try to do the best that we can. You guys all rock. We're adjourned.
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
I second.
All in favor? All in favor? Any opposed? Oops.
Thank you guys all.